The rain had been relentless all afternoon. The city streets shimmered with reflections of neon lights, water pooling in uneven cobblestones. Aisha clutched her soaked tote bag to her chest, her notebook edges curling from the damp. Her phone battery had died 2 hours earlier, and the idea of walking home in this weather felt like an impossible task. She was about to cross the road when a yellow cab slowed beside her. The window rolled down, revealing a man with warm brown eyes, a neatly trimmed beard, and a voice that cut through the sound of rain. "Need a ride? You look like you've been fighting this storm for hours." Aisha hesitated. She wasn't in the habit of accepting rides from strangers. But something in his tone was steady, kind. She glanced at his name tag clipped to the dashboard. "Omar." "I suppose I do," she said, opening the door. Inside, the air was warm, carrying a faint scent of leather and something faintly like coffee. Omar adjusted the heater slightly toward her and glanced in the mirror. "You're a student?" he asked, noticing the college emblem on her bag. "Yes, architecture." "Final year," she replied, brushing a damp strand of hair from her face. "And how's the city treating its future architect?" he asked with a soft smile. "Cold, wet, and exhausting," she said with a small laugh. That laugh seemed to spark something between them, an invisible thread of ease. They talked through the ride, skipping from light topics like the best cafes in the city to deeper ones. His favorite midnight routes, how he sometimes parked by the harbor just to watch ships leave, the way the city looked different depending on your mood. When they reached her street, she didn't feel ready to step out. The cab's warm interior felt like a world apart from the cold reality outside. "Do you drive at night too?" she asked. "Mostly," he replied, curious. "Why?" She smiled, almost shy. "Maybe next time I'll call you. Just for the company." The second ride. The next evening she did call him. The rain had stopped, but the city air was cool, streets glistening under street lamps. Omar picked her up outside her campus. "Anywhere specific?" he asked. "Not really. Just drive." They cruised through quieter streets, music low in the background, soft jazz mixing with the hum of the engine. Aisha sat in the front seat this time, her elbow resting lightly on the console between them. "Why a cab driver?" she asked after a while. "You speak like someone who's lived more than one life." He chuckled. "I have. Used to work in logistics. But driving, it's different. You meet stories. Sometimes you even become part of them." She tilted her head toward him, her voice low. "Am I one of those stories?" His glance toward her was brief but telling. "You might be." Her hand shifted slightly, brushing against his on the gear shift. The touch lingered, neither of them pulling away immediately. There was something unspoken in that moment, an electricity both of them felt. By the riverside. He drove toward the river, the city skyline glowing in the distance. They parked by the embankment, the air carrying a cool breeze. Aisha stepped out, pulling his jacket over her shoulders when he offered it without a word. "You always stop here?" she asked, looking out at the shimmering water. "Sometimes," he said quietly. "It's where the noise of the city feels far away." They stood side by side, the distance between them narrowing until her arm brushed his. She turned toward him, catching his gaze fully for the first time. His eyes held a softness she hadn't expected, a kind of careful restraint. "You have no idea how hard it is not to fall for someone like you," he said, his voice barely above the sound of the water. Her heartbeat quickened. "Maybe you don't have to try so hard." The world seemed to still. He reached up, brushing a damp strand of hair from her cheek, his touch gentle but deliberate. She closed her eyes briefly, breathing in the moment, the scent of rain still clinging to his jacket. They didn't rush. It wasn't about urgency. It was about standing there, inches apart, both aware of how much they wanted this connection to last. Third meeting. Over the next weeks, their drives became a quiet ritual. Sometimes they talked for hours. Sometimes they drove in comfortable silence. He'd take her to tucked-away spots. Hidden gardens, quiet rooftops, cafes that stayed open past midnight. One evening, as they sat in the cab outside her apartment, she hesitated before opening the door. "Omar," she said softly. "Yes. I think I'm becoming one of your favorite stories too." He smiled, reaching for her hand, this time holding it a little longer. "You already are."